Okay, I believe you can see my slide. You can see my screen. I'm sharing. Okay, thank you for being that your Mohammed. Yeah, so much. So welcome to Digital Literacy for All, Training 2026 by NITA in partnership with B.O.F. And this is the UI/UX design class. I believe some of us have participated in freelancing. We've participated in productivity productivity tools. So I believe this is the third class, the third cohort, or the third section class happening for this week. And you are welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. It's a pleasure to meet you guys here. I know we've done a little bit of introduction on the group chats. We've made some engagement, but this is the first time we're having each other here. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I'm so happy to have you guys here. This training was brought to you guys by NITSA, and I'm so grateful for that. Grateful for the chairman of NITSA, and also grateful for B.O.F. for actually bringing this training to you guys. This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity you might actually never get again. So do well to make the best out of it, make the best out of this moment, attend classes, follow up. If you don't have questions, ask your questions, and all of that. So I'm just going to be using slides for today's class or for today's session, and we're going to be going over it. This is a class. This is not a seminar. It's not a what do they call it? Yeah, an event or an event that you go for and then you just sit down and someone is just talking. No, this is a class where you go, you have a teacher, you interact, the person teach, ask you question, I ask question, you give feedback, you interact with each other. So that's how this is going to go, or that is how this training is going to go for the next 2 months. So this is UI/UX design class, a 3 month beginner journey to take you for. Sorry, okay, I was not seeing that particular part of the screen. Okay, yeah, 3 months beginner journey from novice to pro in design, and it's going to be running for March, April, May. So for the next, I think the timetable, I've seen the timetable, so it's going to be running for the next, I think, 8 to 9 weeks. That is on the timetable. And UI/UX design is usually 2 times a week and also once a week. So this week is going to be happening today, Wednesday, and then on Friday. Next week is going to happen just on Wednesday. Upper week is going to happen on Wednesday and on Friday. So that's how the flow is going to be. But then we have the platform, the WhatsApp platform we are on for easy communication. I can see someone that I was texting on the group chat. Is there a link or to join the meeting or something like that? It shows that the person has not been, I don't know if the person is just joining, sorry about that, but it shows that the person has not been following the conversation that has been happening on the WhatsApp group chat. Please follow the conversation that happens on the group chat, because information and other things are going to be dropped there. And I also want to believe that we are on the general community platform, because there's a UI/UX has its own group, freelancing has its own group, productivity has its own group, so that you can also get various information from this platform. And then there's a general community group where all general information are being dropped at the end of the day. So moving on, we're going to next slide. Okay, a brief introduction about me. I'm just going to go over this. I'm going to be reading everything word for word. I'm Kenile Achike. I'm a product designer. I'm a UI/UX design instructor at B.O.F. Also a content creator, a product designer, an instructor and tutor for almost 5 years, and I've helped brands. Please, if your mic is on, can you try and mute it? I just saw a comment where someone was pressed to mute the mic. Please, if you are just joining and your mic is on, try and mute it because I'm trying to focus on the slide, so I might not really take note of if someone's mic is on at a point in time. So, but if your mic is on, please mute it. Thank you so much. It will help us.
Okay, good evening. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, please send the sticker. Okay, before the class starts, before the instructor, please be reminded that the attendance form will be sent in the class. So just be ready to type in your details. Thank you. Don't worry, she's coming.
Hello, can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. The call stopped recording at a point, so I just have to make sure it's recording because that is very important rather than talking and it's not recorded. So I just had to leave and recheck on that. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Please, if my voice is good, let me know if I'm not audible enough. Still let me know. Okay, we are going to do some check-ins. I believe I was at my introduction where I was introducing myself, and we are done with that. This is just an overview of me. Thank you so much. So next thing we're going to do check-ins before we go into learning. I would like to see know some of you, although not everybody, because we have limited time we are working with. So I'm not going to call a random individuals from what I'm seeing here. So you're going to tell me, you're going to answer one of the questions I have here. And after answering it, you're going to tell me your name, what you do, or just something about you. I want to hear your voice. I want us to converse. Yes. So, okay, first of all, before I call on anybody who wants to go first, does anybody want to go first? Let's not waste time. Ah, nobody wants to answer me.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Yes, ma. I'm Dauda Alexander. And for the first question, I think if I will travel to anywhere right now, I think I'll be choosing
Wait, I
Iceland.
think two
Thank you.
people's mic is on, right? Or is it just one person that is talking? Who is speaking, please? Alex Welch, right?
Good evening, ma.
Yes, ma. Can you hear me, ma?
Hello.
Can you hear me, ma?
Hello, ma.
So the first person I'm going to call on is Ruth. Your hands are up, but you don't want to answer me. Okay, since Ruth is not answering, you guys can hear me, right? Let's not be like I'm calling on Ruth and she's not.
We can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, next person I'm going to call on
Okay.
is Mohammed.
I can hear you now, ma.
Yes. Yes, ma. Good evening, ma. For the first question, I would like to travel to Dubai.
Hello, Ruth. You were trying to say.
Yes, I can hear you, ma. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Mwala Queen Ruth. Okay, for the first question, if I could travel anywhere right now, where would that be? And I would say, um, I want to travel to Italy now. For the second question, how are you feeling right now? I'm
Okay.
feeling
Thank you so much.
okay, the second question. Am I to take the second question?
No, no, no. Just one is fine.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, so we can move on to another person. You're welcome, Ruth. Thank you so much. So I think I might just take three more questions. So we can move on. John Cross. Next question, and then you tell us something about yourself. How are you feeling right now? One word.
Okay, good evening, all. How I'm feeling right now, I feel so inquisitive to know to learn something new.
They say one word, one word.
Oh, one word,
One
inquisitive.
word.
I said inquisitive. Um,
Okay, Miss Inquisitive. Hey, let me not like Thank you, John Cross, for that. So the next one, you guys should allow those questions to answer that question, please. Don't have it. Next person to be Anna.
Good evening, ma. The next question is, what's one song you've enjoyed listening to lately? Dandelions. That's the name of the song. I enjoy the song. That's what I've been listening to lately. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you there.
Okay.
Oh, should I repeat myself?
Yes, please repeat yourself, please.
Okay. For the third question, the song I've enjoyed listening to lately
Right.
is Dandelions. That's the name of the song, Dandelions.
Oh, I know that song. I sing it a lot
Yeah,
when I go for karaoke.
yeah,
Okay, thank you so
yes.
much, Hannah, for
I
that.
enjoy it really. Did I say too much? I enjoy it too much. All right.
Okay, I think we have just one question. Just one opportunity for one person to say something before going to the business of it. So I think Brian, Ibrahim, I mean, Ibrahim, you're raising your hand. If you can hear me, please go ahead and do something. If not, I'm going to open the floor for someone else. I think Max is somewhere.
Should I answer the question?
What is happening to you?
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I should answer what never asks a
Okay, the
question but
question
gets
is
answered all the
asked,
time.
what never asked the question but gets answered all the time?
The doorbell.
Oh my God, how did you know that?
I think I've
That's
heard
nice.
this line before. I've
Oh,
heard
He
it.
searched. He searched online.
oh, 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 you went to
You don't.
ask the AI. Which one?
I've heard the line before.
Okay, okay. That's nice. Thank you so much, Martin, for the. So I think that's all for our check-in. Sorry if I not for you. I was just going to randomly based on the hands I'm seeing on this. So let's move on to the next slide. Thank you so much. Tools and mindset. So this is just an overview of the tools we are going to be making use of in the course of this training. We are going to be using Figma. It's software. FigJam still also a software, and it's still also a software. So one thing you should know, or one mindset you should know or have, is that skills are transferable. Apps may change, principles may sorry, it may change, or the principles don't. You can use a particular tool today and then bring out another tool tomorrow. One thing that matters the most is that you know the principles, you know the skills of how things work, so that you can transfer them from app one to app two, irrespective of what the app or software is all about. It has something about having a digital skill. So remind progress up from practice, not just watching. If you do not practice or implement whatever we're going to do in this class for the next 2 to 3 months, then trust me, you will not see any progress. Don't expect any magic to happen. If you like, just keep on listening to me, watching the class recordings and all of that. There is not going to be any progress. You have to practice, you have to implement whatever you have and next slide. Okay, so this is our syllabus course outside. So these things are what we're looking at for the next 3 months. This is just the heading. There are lots of things. Some are going to take us like 2 weeks. Okay, no, let me not use 2 weeks. Let me use 2 classes. Some are going to take us like three sessions or 3 classes. Please, if your mic is on, mute it. Please, if your mic is on, mute it. We are interfering with our class. Thank you so much. So back to saying, these are what we're looking at. Some are going to take us three classes, some are going to take us 2 classes, some are going to take us just 1 classes. But this is an overview of first content of what we're going to be looking at in UI UX design. We're going to be looking at introduction to UI UX design, user research and personas, information architecture and framing, visual design principles, visual design again, prototyping and usability testing, building a UI UX portfolio. So this is what we're going to do. So welcome to day one of so many days to come. So welcome to day one. So in day one, section one, introduction to UI UX design. This is what we're going to be looking at. Overview of UI UX design, difference between UI and UX, importance of UI UX, product development, application, rules, so all of that. Not need for me to start reading them one by one because we're going to cut them. So before I go to the next slide, which is overview of UI design, I'm going to ask a question again. Like I said in class, and I want to be interactive, not just here to preach to you guys, or it's not a seminar or like is it a lecture? No, it's a class. We're going to interact with each other. So anyone just tell me from their understanding of crown age before now what you understand by UI and UI inputs design. Please, can you guys see my screen? Someone just said they can see my screen. Please, if you can see my screen, just react quickly. Thank you so much. If you can't see my screen, please leave the call and review. It might be your end. Thank you. So, okay, so whose hands is on? Sorry, if you pronounce this, the person has dropped with her hand. Okay, so everybody, what you understand by design, what you know, it doesn't have to be one gram. It doesn't have to open your AI and start asking questions, please. Just tell me what you think or what you believe UI design is from hearing of people. You used to hear about UI design, UI design. Just tell me from your perspective. Okay, David can go ahead and unmute and say something.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Your name is so naughty.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. I raised up my hand because your voice is breaking, ma'am. Your voice is breaking.
Sorry, the person that was saying something, my grandma was very busy. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Let me not wrongly pronounce it. For your hand, if you want to ask the question, just to mic and answer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is
Good evening.
Nimatullah. Okay. UI UX. UI stands for user interface, while UX stands for user experience. So user experience, or I will first of all define what UI is. UI is as the user interface is the layers or pages or screens where user are able to interact, make or carry out a task in a specific product or if a specific design. Then user experience. Okay, user experience is the overall overview of what a user experience when maybe testing or using a product, like how when using your WhatsApp, how you feel when using it, how it is easy for you to use, how it is without the need of anybody to guide you. Are you able to carry on with the app? Is the product useful to users? So in general, UI UX is defined as a user experience platform where user can interact and carry out their view on what, I don't know. That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, what's the name again?
Nima. Nima to laugh.
Okay, Nika.
Yeah, Nima. You can call me Nima.
Okay, thank you so much. That was a very, very beautiful and thank you for sharing your knowledge of that. At least I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that from you. So does anybody else want to try? Even though you don't want
Good evening,
to
man.
now.
Good
Okay.
evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, user UI simply means user interface, like the interface where the user interacts with. While UX is user's experience. So user's experience, the way they can be able to use it without being taught, the easy access. So that's just what I understand.
Okay. Please, what's the name? Let me not pronounce something else. Sorry. Okay. There's someone who raised up their hand. You're raising up your hand saying, Sahid, you want to say something? I think you'll be the last response I would get. I would take rather.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can go in.
All right. So UI is user interface. It's basically like the screen, how users are able to see the screen of their phone and interact with software or application. It involves like the buttons, how the structure of the page is, and all the displays on that particular screen, how it is arranged. That's the user interface. Meanwhile, the user experience, which is the UX, is normally how the user is able to interact with those buttons, those things on the screen. In terms of like user experience has to do with accessibility and also how smooth the user is able to interact with that particular screen. So together, UI UX made the whole experience very seamless in terms of how the buttons are arranged and how a user is able to like interact with that particular app, software, or any screen. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Saeed. This all of you are just giving me back to back response. That means we're not going to spend so much time on the whole. I want to hear from someone. I don't know, is there anybody here that this is the first time you are just hearing about your design? You don't have any knowledge about it whatsoever. Because all the rest of our videos, we are sounding like no bits. We're not sounding like no, sorry, we're already sounding like pro in it. Yes, if you are new, I want to hear from you, from your own understanding, from what you can put together. It doesn't mean you must know it. That person that is typing in the comment section about being new. Bash. Oh, sorry, let me not mispronounce your name. You can omit your mic and say something. Your hand. Okay, since you're not saying anything, I'm going to move on. So thank you all so much for the response by he, Nima, and then one of that person. I wanted the person to pronounce his name, but he did it before he left. So I'm going on to next slide. So let's go into the overview of UI UX design. So At its core, UI/UX is about using friction between user and their goal. That's just like a core definition of things. But if you want to go into details, difference between UI and UX. UI is an abbreviation of a word. I know most of us will be hearing UI, UX, UX. I think that's like the thing. No, it's an abbreviation. UI stands for user interface, while UX stands for user experience. User interface is the visual layer, everything you can see. In simple explanation, there are not much grammar. UI, user interface, is what you see with your eyes, from the color to the typography to the icons, layout, things. That is just what UI is on a mobile application. If you are on your mobile app, you are seeing buttons, you are seeing colors. If you are on this Meet, you can see buttons, you can see icons, you can see that mic icon, or mute your mic, or to mute it. Those so are like UI, the visual layer of things. Then a UI design job is to make a product look good and feel visually consistent. So when we say visually consistent, we're talking about good typography, color, icons. So those are visual representation that a UI designer have to deal with in a digital product. Then when we're talking about UX, user experience, is the structural emotional layer. Why they put emotional there? It's not like it has to do it. You not come and start saying, do you have faith for me or what? It's just trying to describe, as human beings, we have emotions. So when we are doing something, or when we are carrying out any action at any point in time, we have emotions towards them. So that's what UX in. UX deals with, okay, you are using this particular product now. How do you feel about it? Do you feel good? Do you enjoy it? Do you feel excited? So that's when the whole user experience comes into. How does users interact with products? Okay, I have to go from point A to point B. Before I get to point, I have to go from point C to point D. I want to post a picture statue. I want to post a picture of my statue. I have to click the camera icon. It takes me to my gallery. It selects the picture. So those are like the interactions happens. And is it like a good interaction? Do you feel happy after it? Like, is the process easy? So that's just what user experience is. And AI is UX designer act. Does this make sense? Okay, I think this is so like what I'm trying to say. Does this make sense? Is it easy to use? Does it solve the user's problem? As a UX designer, those are the questions you are asking, or those are what you're trying to do. Are you guys? Are you guys here? I don't know if I'm too fast. Let me know so I can always do that my space or come again. So okay, in practical time, I'm going to explain without using a digital product, like what to see. I know most of us have made use of a door, like you know of this door that you have to push or pull before you enter. It's mostly in sometimes it's mostly eatery, in restaurants, coming inside, seeing the door you're pushing for. So for example, that door, the way the door was designed, with the handle, with the key lock, with the water taking the glass, is like the eye of the products, like the physical product at the end of the day. The way it looks like is the UI. That whole process of you pulling the door, pushing the door, while you're entering inside, while you're outside, that is like the whole user experience of it. So most times people don't have like a deep experience with it, because then when they pull it, it's quite like difficult to pull at the end of it. So that pushing and pushing and going and out, that's like the whole experience. So that was like a very simple or layman definition of what user interface and user experience design is all about. But in this case now, we're dealing with digital products. Are you guys with me?
Yes,
Please, I'm
ma'am.
going to ask you. At the end of the day, I'm going to ask questions, and it's not everything that is on the slide. It's not everything I'm talking about that is on the slide. So do well to still pay attention. The slide is just to give you a better picture of what I'm trying to explain. So that's user interface and user experience design. So I'm going to move on to the next slide we have here. Okay, importance of UI and UX design in product development. I know most of you guys will be saying, oh, why do I need UX design, or why do I need UX, or why does UI design exist? Can a front-end developer not just develop it, or it's not just this? People, it's not just to deal with just pushing pixels or pushing or just design. It's not what a front-end can do and all those stuff. But there is an importance to why you actually do a UI in your product development at the end of the day. So, okay, in product development, UX is for decoration. One importance of UX design is that once you have a good UI and products, once you have a good user interface, whenever you use UI or UX, for those of you that are just new to it, just know I'm referring to user interface, user experience, because that's how I'm saying it in the duration of this class. So UI, UX increase conversion rates. At the end of the day, whatever you are doing, whatever product you are making, whatever software you are developing, your end goal is always to make money. That's just it. You will not put any digital product out there, build the product out there, and at the end of it, you are not like make money from it. So when you have a good UI and UX design, it helps in conversion rate. That is, it helps your product actually carry out the task it's meant to carry out. And why that is happening, you are getting good conversion at the end of it. When you use UI, when you use like Facebook has like 400 billion users at the end of the day, or 200 billion users. Do you know how much that conversion rate is at the end of the day? If you are UI or UX or that platform is bad or it's not good, you will not be getting that conversion rate, or you will not be hearing that you have 2 billion users at the end of the day, or hearing that WhatsApp is used by over 100 billions of people at the end of the day. So please, if you're raising up your hand, ask a question. Just hold on. I will take questions after the
Ma, it's
session.
not. Sorry, ma, it's not about questions. Your voice is really breaking. I don't know if it's just me. They are complaining in the call message. Thank you.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
It's better now, ma.
Yeah, it's okay now, at least.
Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma, we can hear you clearly now.
Yes, ma.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, and I feel like someone said I'm on 2 times speed. Please, if I'm fast, let me know. So I'll always recap. I'll try to be slow in most. Okay, I was talking about the importance of UI UX design in product development. Sometimes when some people will be like, oh, why do we need a UI UX design? Okay, why some people like, why do you need a UI UX designer? Why can a front-end person or developer just do everything at once? Why do we need a designer before it gets to the and then the product comes to life? So we are looking at some important so that tomorrow if somebody wants to hire your skill and the person is undervaluing you, saying they don't need you, you are going to like have a reason to tell them that okay, yes, this is actually needed at the time. So one of those reasons we have is increased conversion rates. So I was actually explaining this. Once you have a good UI UX, at the end of the day, when you're building a product or when you're building a particular product, your end goal at the end of the day is to actually make money or actually get the conversion you want from that particular product. So I was explaining that when you hear Facebook has over 5 billion users or WhatsApp has over 100 billion users, when you hear stuff like that and all of those stuff, it's not because people just want to come and use it, because okay, yes, their platform, their interface is good and is easy to use. That's one of the reasons at the end of the day. And when you hear things like, oh, there is over 100 billion users, there is over 200 billion users, do you think that that platform is not actually getting the conversion rate in it? It is. And one of the reasons is because the interface and the experience is a good one. And that's like the job of a UI UX designer. So the next one we have is user satisfaction. So once your one importance of a good UI UX design in product development is user satisfaction. Your users are going to be satisfied at the end of the day, because when you are building a digital product, you're not building it for yourself to use, you are building it for group of people to use, you are building it for category of people to use, you are building it for users to use out there at the end of the day. So your users are going to be satisfied by that particular product. There are some products that UI UX designers are not involved in it. Probably it was just a front-end developer or just just a front-end developer that just did whatever they want to do. At the end of the day, when that site or when that app goes live, you will see that it's going to be very frustrating for users to make use of. And then you can just be like, oh, like they don't actually enjoy using the product at the end of the day. Then product adoption. So it's easy for people to adopt your product when it has a good UI UX design. If I use that product, I can go and tell, even though the product is new to the market, even though the product is just one day old or 2 day old, at the end of the day, once it has a good UI UX design, people will easily want to adopt that product. People will easily want to buy into that product. One thing that make billions of people keep on using WhatsApp or keep on using Facebook or keep on using I don't even know, okay, I'm trying to look for popular products out there to call, or people keep on using OPay, apart from the what it has to offer. These are digital products that people keep on using every day. You're seeing new users coming every day. They're adopting the product every day. It's because the UI and the UX of the product is actually good. If it's not good, the product will not be easily adopted by people or by new people every day or every second. Then retain users for a long time. Okay, I think I've actually still explained this one way or the other when I was talking about user satisfaction. So once you have a good UI or UX once your design in your product is good, it actually retains users for a longer time. Like they will spend more time on that application. they will spend more time on that website. They will spend more time on that platform. They will spend more time on that product. If I'm sitting down on a particular chair and the chair is comfortable for me and I'm working or something, and that particular chair is comfortable at that particular point in time, I will want to still spend more time on that chair because that chair is comfortable to me. It's not making my back pain. It shows that, okay, the design of that chair is actually a good chair. But if the chair is so uncomfortable and my back aches me and all of that, I will easily want to just get up from the chair and then leave the chair. So that is the same thing that happens when it deals with when we talk about digital products. Are you guys with me? Let it not be like I'm talking to myself too much, but when I'm done, I'll
Yes,
ask
ma, we are
questions
with you.
that you're following.
We are here.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next one I'm going to talk about is attract new customers and users to the platform. I'm going to skip this. I feel like I've said it at one point or the other. So yeah, good UI UX is attract new customers, new users, increase productivity. Once your platform is good, it increases your productivity. You want to keep on carrying out the tasks you want to carry at that particular point in time. So this is just a summary of the importance of UI UX design in product development. If you might be wondering, why is this particularly important, or why do I actually need this in building my products at that particular point in time? So the next, what we're going to be looking at next is application. So you might be wondering, where can I actually apply this? If I have the skill set, where can I apply it? Especially for those of us that are just new to this, because you are still part of the learning process, or you are still part of this class, please. So try and follow up everything I'm trying to say. So where can you apply this? You can apply it in design of digital products, digital software, your mobile applications, your websites, your web applications. All of these can actually be your UI UX design skill can actually be applied in those particular products. Even in designs that are built, even in gaming designs, yes, to an extent, people actually design games, like mobile application for games in Figma. Yes, you can actually do that if you have the right knowledge or skill. It's not just limited to designing mobile apps. Even when it comes to designing some games and all you just need is, okay, probably a game developer and all of that. So that is where they are being applied. Your mobile app, there is that your bank app that you're using, that your OP app, there is that your money points app, there is a UI UX designer was involved in it. Yes, that your what else again, that websites that you go to scroll on, a UI UX design was involved in it. That your social media platform that you're using, a UI UX design was involved in the process. So yes, so moving on. Okay, I'm going to be looking. Okay, let me just do this. Let me just go over this before I take some questions. If anybody have any question. So does anybody have any questions so far from what I've said? Please ask your question. Don't wait till you have so much workload in your head before you now start saying you did not even get what we said from the start. Ask your question now so that you'll be able to follow up, because this is just the beginning. If you don't understand the introduction, you might not understand what we are saying 2 days later, or 3 classes later, or 4 classes later. So ask your question now. Nobody wants to ask questions. So all of you have been following what I've been saying since.
We are trying.
Yes, ma.
Okay, me shall still ask my own question, but let's move on for now. But let's move on for now. So, okay, I'm going to be looking at the role of a UI UX designer. So what are the role of a UI UX designer? You might be wondering, oh yes, so if I decide to be a UI UX designer now, what am I going to do? Or what do I have to do? And all of that. So this is just like an overview, like I said, like it was stated in the beginning from the outline. we had in the beginning, overview of UI UX design. So this is just like an overview. So role of UI UX design, we have, sorry, I'm not saying, okay, I think I can see it from here. We have user research and sorry guys, user research and analysis. So yes, as a UI UX designer, you should be able to carry out user research. You should be able to do some user analysis and all of that. You will understand better when we go into the class fully and as we go on. Design thinking and problem solving, you should be able to think. I hear people say stuff like, oh, if you're doing UI UX design, as long as you're not coding, it's way easier. You don't have to run codes. I tell you now, here and now, that that's not true. UI UX design is still as much difficult as every other tech skill that you might actually want to learn. But if you put in the work, you put in the practice, then you are good to go. So because you are going to be thinking a lot, and not just surface thinking. You are going to be critically thinking of ways to come up with solution to a particular problem, thinking of ways you can actually make things work at the end of the day. So that is it. Then creating user interface. So yes, you are going to be doing the design and the creation of user interface. Fine. After you've known, oh, what's up with whatever you're doing, at the end of the day, you are going to be creating the interface of things. So I'm just trying to like say them one so I don't sound so fast. Then the next one we have is usability testing and iteration. So you carry out usability testing, you test your product as a UI UX designer. That is your role. So tomorrow, if you go into a workflow or a workspace and somebody comes and tell you, oh, carry out this thing, do usability testing, and you say, oh no, it's not part of my job, or I'm not supposed to be doing that. So these are some things that you're supposed to be proficient in before you start calling yourself a UI UX designer out there. Usability testing and iteration, you test your product. Collaboration and communication, you should be able to collaborate, because as a UI UX designer, you are working hand in hand with your developer. It doesn't mean that as a UI UX designer, you design your work and finish, and then you just put it out there and then you expect people to start using. No, you are working hand in hand with your developer. So your developer codes your work, and then it's more like it's bringing it to life. That's where you get people to start using it. So your developer can end up doing what I ordered versus what I got for you. You can design something totally different, and your developer, if your developer is not proficient enough, it can end up going to develop something else from what you entirely designed, and that can actually cause a particular problem at a point in time or something like that. So you should be able to collaborate and also communicate well, because as a UI UX designer, you are not working alone. No, you are working in a team, because you are dealing with a digital product, and in that team you are working with, you might actually see your project manager, you have your marketer. Yes, your digital marketer, the one that will come and tell you that no, don't put this thing because it might not sell for us, or we might not get the money we want. You're working with a graphic designer, you're working with your developer, you're working with your project manager, you're working with your front-end, back-end developer. If it's mobile app, you're working with your mobile app developer. So you should be able to like communicate across these teams at the end of the day. So the next one we have here is maintaining design systems. So as a UI UX designer, you should be able to maintain certain design systems across your design. Once you move from point A to point B, when you're designing a particular product, you should be able to maintain certain design systems, the way the design looks like at the end of the day, because that is your role as a UI UX designer. Don't go and do something. I know right now it's just all talk, but probably in practical sense, you might actually understand what I'm trying to say. Don't go and start, because you might be working for a particular brand, and the brand has like 3 different products. Probably, let me say, okay, for example, you are working as a UI UX designer with OPay. OPay has a fintech app already, which is their mobile application. Tomorrow they can decide that, oh, okay, they want to bring out a food delivery application, just like what's this food delivery application again that's so popular? But what am I forgetting? Just like, and they might decide that they want to bring a food delivery platform, maybe like
Child deck.
thank you so much. It was child deck I wanted to say. Tomorrow they might decide that they want to do OPE child deck, but for like OPE brand. So as a designer working with OPE, you should be able to maintain the same design system OPE already has on their fintech mobile application across that food delivery mobile application that they want to start running as a brand. So that's what maintaining design systems is all about at the end of the day. Then moving on, we're going to be looking at UI/UX design is not graphic design. Yes, I must actually say this. At this introductory part, many people will be like, "Oh, what's the difference between being a UI/UX designer and a graphic designer? Are they not the same thing? I'm a graphic designer. Am I not still a UI/UX designer? No, no, no. They are entirely two different things. Sorry, let me just go through the comment section. Oh, okay. You guys are talking about the attendance, not me. Okay, so there are two different things at the end of the day. UI/UX designer and graphic design creates visual display to attract customers. Both of them are working with visual display. Both of them are working with things. When you mean visual, things you are seeing with your eyes at the end of the day, and then it's looking at you back. So that's what we mean by visual display. So both of them are working with visual display to attract customers. That is their end goal. However, but UI/UX design deals with the process through which users will engage with digital products. So UI/UX designer, they deal with more of like digital products, the process users engage with that particular digital product, what it takes for that digital product to actually be there at the end of the day. Why graphic designers mainly create visual display for print and social media. So that's what graphic designers do. They create I don't want to say, I did not want to put flyer there so that our brain will not just be concise or stick with, oh, it's flyer. They create visual display. It can either be for social media, for banner. When they mean print, like probably banner, flyer, probably if you want to print a design or on a particular material like a t-shirt or whatever. But that's what graphic design do. At the end of the day, they are all parts of visual designers. Yes, they are all visual designer. You are a UI/UX designer is a visual designer. A graphic designer is a visual designer. A motion designer, yes, I don't know if you've heard of motion design, but a motion designer is actually a visual designer. And illustrator, there are people who does illustration. They are also a visual designer. So it's just like under types of visual design, you see all these people. But no, a graphic designer is not the same thing as a UI/UX designer. As a graphic designer, you can say, okay, yes, you want to know more or probably go further or probably add to your skill set and say, okay, yes, you want to go and learn UI/UX design. And it will be way easier for you because you already have some certain basic knowledge you need to know, like color, typography, and all of those stuff because it's used in graphic design. Then you can say, okay, yes, you want to go and further learn UI/UX designer. And also, as a UI/UX designer, you can actually still say, you want to do the work of a graphic design. So the skill you will learn as a UI/UX design is transferable to a graphic design. You can say, okay, you want to do visual design for print, for social media, and all of those stuff. So yes, but they are not entirely the same thing. So are you guys with me? Okay, before I go to
Yeah, we're with you.
okay, thank you. Okay. Before I go to the session 2, still on introduction to UI/UX design, is there any question? So this was just part of like the overview of UI/UX design, difference between UI and UX, importance of UI/UX in the product development, application, roles of UI/UX designer. So that's just like the first session in introduction to UI/UX design. So we're also still going to look at the second section of it in introduction to UI/UX design. So before then, does anybody have any question? Eniola, you want to say something? Your hands are up.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for the suggestion. So I want to ask, are we going to have access to the slide? after the class.
Sorry, Eniola, I can't hear you. Your voice is low. I don't know if it's from my end.
Hear me now, ma.
Can you be more audible?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma. I was asking if we're going to have access to the slides after the session tonight.
Okay, what's going to be made available is the recording. The call is being recorded, and once you have access to the call recording, you can also still see the slide and still probably hear my teaching and all. Then, yeah, okay, I wanted to, okay, it was only Eniola that was asking a question. Does anybody have any questions regarding what I'll be saying since? Me, I'll ask my own question now if I continue.
Good evening, ma. Sorry, I have a question regarding this user research and analysis.
Okay.
So the
Well,
analysis, what type of analysis? Is it that data analysis or what type?
no, we are not going into, you will see it actually still part of the course of the class, but it's not data analysis. It's just using the word it's just more like doing research, like oh God, sorry, like comparing things. Probably you have two things, you're comparing it, you're analyzing it and looking at it to get the best result. But you're not going into I'm not referring to like data analysis here, or getting 1 billion data from people and then putting it into spreadsheets or whatever data analysis is all about. But we're still going to look at that in the course of the training.
Okay. Sorry. Moreover, ma, regarding iteration, I've been coming over the word, but please, if you can just explain it, even if it is briefly, the
Regarding to,
usability iteration.
sorry,
The
you
word
said
is
usability.
no, the word iteration. I've been over it lately, but
Okay. Yeah. I get what you're trying to say. Iteration. So it means that, okay, how am I going to explain this? At the end of the day, iteration just means doing things after the first trial. You go back again, like you do your user, you test your product at trial 1. You see the result from the test. Once you see the result from the test, you go back and implement it into your product. That's like the first iteration. Once you implement it into your product, you go again out there, test it for the second time, you get results, you go back and implement it again from the beginning or from the start. So that's just what iteration is all about. Then you just keep on doing it and doing it again. So that's what I mean by usability testing and iteration. I don't know if you get.
okay. Thank you, ma.
So,
I've gotten.
yeah, you're welcome. Does anybody have any other question? If you have a question, please ask. If you feel too shy to talk, you can actually still type your question in the chat box and ask your question. Type your question in the chat box, ask your question. Nobody wants to ask a question. Okay, let me ask my own question. Yeah, I think I wrote it down somewhere, but it's not on here. Okay, the first question I want to ask is why do we think, like I made mention, this class is going to be interactive. It's not I not come here to preach to you guys or a seminar. It's a class. We're all meant to learn together. So from your own understanding of everything I've said so far, I don't think what I've said is written boldly in one of the slides or something like that, but you can make reference to it if you want to. So why can a visually appealing interface still fail as a product? Because we'll be talking about UI, user interface, user experience. So can someone just tell me from their own thinking or all understanding of all what we're saying or all what we're getting into as a UI designer? It doesn't mean we must have gotten there yet, but we are already in the process. So can you just tell me why you think a visually appealing, when you mean visually appealing, it looks good, it is fine, but it can still fail at the end of the day as a product. So quickly, we don't have time. Okay, Jimo, your hands are up. You can go ahead and say what you want to say.
Sorry, please come again with the question.
Why do you think a visually appealing interface still fail as a product?
What happened is that visual appealing still fails in a situation whereby it can be attractive, maybe mere looking at it, but maybe probably when testing or maybe when the user is making use of it, it might have a certain adjustment that need to be made. But visual appealing, like you seeing it, you know like this thing is okay. But when the user is making use of it, there will be some kind of correction on it.
All right, man. Like, sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, sorry, just hold on. Sorry, okay. So I wanted to get what the last person said. What's the name again? Sorry, I'm trying to look for your name because your distance is off. Okay, Jimo. So you said when they do the testing and then the user does not, I'm trying to get your response. Sorry. You were like, when they do the testing and then the user does not actually understand it or get it, and then the thing is looking visually good, that is when, like, that is what makes the product still fails at the end of the day. Jimo, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, maybe after the UI UX designer has done his or her own part, maybe probably giving out to a developer, it might look okay, but maybe probably the way the developer make their application or website might not be exactly how you design it, and also maybe probably when testing what you've already designed, it's not coming out the way exactly how you want it, but looking at it
Okay.
visually.
Mm. Okay. I get what you're trying to say now. So any other person, oh my God, there are so many
Yes,
hands
man.
up.
Sorry, man.
So sorry, I
Okay.
think I'm just going to call so that some people don't have the excuse of, okay, they raise their hands up, and instead of just randomly unmuting your mic to answer, I'm going to be calling on people, especially people that I'm not familiar with their names and they want to say something. Okay, Ayo David, you can unmute your mic and say, please, if you know you don't want to answer the question, just stop raising up your hands. But if you want to answer the question, then I think those are the hands that are up. Ayo David, please, can you unmute your mic and say something? Your hands is up.
All right, hi everyone. Just to add to what Ridwan said, that's the name on dashboard. It can be visually appealing, but not user friendly. And maybe when developing it, there might be bugs, and maybe the pages that the developer designed for the product might not be giving the result that the icons are asking to. Maybe like it can say maybe an about icon can take you to something that is not even about the page or something. So it might not be user friendly, but user appealing to the eyes. That's just what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So I'm just going to read. Some people are dropping in the comment section, and I like the responses. So, entry member said it's about the user. The user experience is bad, but the user at surface. Okay. You are saying, okay, why can a visually appealing product have what was the question again? Why can a visually appealing surface still feel as a product? You are just saying the user experience is bad. I like that. That is like a straightforward, straight up answer. I think that was like one of like the straight up answer I was looking for. Then Uncle, you said a visually appealing product can fail when the person tasks with coding phase to do their job. I think you mentioned it earlier. Can pour in their all. Okay. But that can actually still not be the total end. If a product is visually appealing and it is failing while being right there, it starts from the very beginning, which is the UI/UX designer. I want you guys to leave developer out of this right now. So, as a UI/UX designer yourself, what do you think can be the issue from your probably your own end or your own role? So, someone else said. Okay, these write-ups are long. Sorry, I can't be reading them. So I'm just going to take two more questions of those that their hands are raised up, and probably we're going to move on. Okay, who else am I going to call from here? Timmy Tunes, your hands are up. You want to say something?
Okay, good evening, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Good evening, everyone. So I believe one thing that could cause a product to fail would be, like someone already said, is the bad UX, since the UI is different from the UX, and the interface is just basically what we can see. And while using such products, there might be problems with how they function. When I click a button, does the button actually work? Does it take me to the maybe the product page or where I want to go? So it could be fine, everything could look appealing, the layout could be good, but might not really work. I think that's one reason. I think another reason is you developing a product or designing a product without having the users in mind. So I can have an idea of how I want my product to look like, but will it be meeting the needs of the people who will be using this product? Do I maybe do a proper research of what these people need and how it's going to solve their problem? So I think those are my few thoughts. Thank you.
Oh, that was such a nice answer to me. Are you a product owner? Because the way you're sounding, it's as if you've been in that shoes before.
I'm a developer, and I've had to do design as part of front end for a while, so I kind of need to hear a little bit.
Oh, okay. Because I love your perspective and your answer actually towards it. Thank you so much for that. It shows that
Thank
okay,
you.
we are actually understanding where we are going to and where we are coming from as UI/UX designers. So one more person, and then we go back to our class, please, because there is a limited time frame. So which person's name am I not seeing? I think almost everybody here has. Okay. Ayi Lara, sorry if I not pronounce the name well. You can actually say something or answer my question. Quickly, please. We have limited time here.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Actually, a UI designer is the one that design just more or less like a graphic designer to the product. But if a product fail, it comes from the end of the UX designer in the sense that let's look at Temu as an example or Jumia as an example. The login page has been designed or it has been designed so by the UI. The user wants to use the product. So the user puts the username and the password. Then for him to click the login button is taking him or her to maybe settings. So
Okay.
something like that. So it was unable, and the user was unable to make use to befriend the product. And another second option is that um, when the user of the product was unable to navigate the product, the interface of the product, or using the product itself, was he or she was unable to navigate throughout the product. Like an example, if I want to add to cart in Temu or Jumia, for an example, so
Mm-hmm.
the add to cart is there, but when I press the add to cart, it's taking me back to maybe login page or to maybe settings. So with that, I was unable to use the product effectively the way I should use the product. So it will be giving me headache, and I will not be able to make use of the product the way I want to. So that's my own idea based on the question.
Okay, thank you so much, Ailara. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I can see that there are a lot of responses, and I'm so glad for the responses to show that you guys are actually flowing and going on with things. So we're just going to move on next. Um, so the bottom line of it is just for you to know that UI and UX, they work hand in hand, except you say you just want to be a UI designer and that's all you'll be calling yourself. Yeah, people actually just be a UI designer. Some people just be a UX designer. Some people just even do only user research. That's what they do. That's like just their job description. They just focus on one. But if you're not niching down and you call yourself a UI UX designer, both of them work hand in hand. So you can't design an interface that is just visually appealing. At the end of the day, the product actually, when the product is being launched, it fails. It involves a lot of things. Is either the experience is not good, or probably you did not even work with the marketing team as a UI/UX designer. Because working, like I made mention, collaboration is key. Working with people involved in product development is still key. Working with the marketing team that makes sure that that product is meant to sell is still key. Working as what else do I want to say again? Yeah, working with the marketing team is still to still make sure that that product actually is still good on the business side, is still actually key as a and then most importantly, working with your users. Don't do things based on Isha, Allah, and vibes. You have to make sure you're working with a user, because that's like your end goal. They are the ones that are going to use that particular product at the end of the day. When people say things like, oh, AI are going to come and take your job as UX designer, AI can do this, AI can do that. Although we're going to look at that part of AI when it comes to design, probably at the end of at the end of the class entirely. So when people talk about AI coming to like take the roles or replace your role as a designer and all, it's not entirely true, because there are some things you yourself as a designer will do. There are some thinking you will do. There are some things you will put in place that when you send a particular prompt to AI doesn't actually do that. It gives you the visually appealing interface, it gives you some layout, it gives you some structure and all of those stuff. But there are some experience that at the end of the day, you yourself as a human being, and let me use that word, you yourself as a human being, you need to carry out that particular research or carry out that particular process to be able to implement it in your design. So that's that for that. So they work hand in hand. UI works hand in hand with UX. So just make sure both of them are working together whenever you're doing anything. It's not by designing fine thing or fine design in Figma. So next slide, if you have your questions, just keep it to the end of the class, please. That's when I'll take questions. So this is your first assignment. Let me just go to our next slide before I go back to explaining. I think at the end of the session, or once time is up, I'm going to go back to the assignments and explain what you guys are meant to do. So our session 2, we're still on that introduction to UI UX design. We're going to be looking at design thinking processes, what design thinking is, the processes, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and then we're going to be looking at laws of UX. So there are some processes that are involved in design thinking or in design decision making. You don't just wake up one morning, or somebody don't just come and meet you and say, oh, they have product A to build, or they have product B to build, and then you just open your software, Figma, which is like the most common or popular design software, which is what we're going to be using in the course of this learning or in the course of this training. You don't just open your Figma and said you want to start designing something. You don't just open your Figma file and say people want to start, and you want to start designing whatever you want to design. No, there are some design thinking processes you go through that actually shape your whole design process. The first one we have is empathize. We have empathize, we have define, we have ideate, we have prototype, and then we have test. So let's look at each of them. Please take notes, because you are going to carry out an assignment or an assessment actually at the end of the day, that you are going to be actually implementing all of these. So what are design thinking process? Design thinking is the backbone of modern design. It is an iterative process that follows a human-centered approach to solving problems. Iterative process, which means that you are actually doing things in step. Like once you do your first step, you implement, you see that, okay, there is actually an issue or there is actually a problem, you go back, you correct it again. So that is what I mean by, that is what you mean by iterative. The human-centered is based on your human interaction at the end of the day. So the first one we have here is empathize. What is empathize? Okay, I'm just going to read this through very fastly, then I explain whatever I want to explain. Is the stage where you understand your user, set aside your assumption, sees your user from their own point of view, and all of that. Or you can actually still look, I hope everybody is seeing my screen, though, because whatever I'm saying is for my screen and then for my own this thing. Good. So please just look at the screen too. So empathize, this is the stage where you're designing as a designer. You're not designing like for yourself. Like I've been making mention of various points in time at the end of this. At the end of the day, you are not designing for yourself. Yes, you are the one sitting down on the seat or behind the laptop or whatever and doing the design, but it's not for yourself. There are people out there who is going to use it. So you are supposed to empathize with them. You are supposed to put yourself in their shoe at the end of the day. Yes, that is what you, if you say you want to design a particular product or you want to do a particular product and your target audience or your target users are students, and you yourself, you graduated from school 5 years ago, the way students are experiencing whatever is happening in their school environment is not the same way you yourself, you experienced yours 5 years ago. So as a designer, you're not supposed to just assume, jump into conclusion and do whatever you want to do. You're supposed to put yourself in their shoes and understand whatever is happening to them. It's not about what you think, it's about what is really up with them. And how do you achieve this? You achieve it through user research, which we're going to look at during the course of this class. You achieve it through user research. That's how you empathize with your user. The next one we have is define. Define, this is actually the point that you actually have to sit down as a designer and say, okay, this is the problem my users are actually facing at this particular point. This is the problem they are experiencing. So you define the problem, you state it out clearly. You don't just assume and say, okay, I've made this research. I guess this is what is their problem. I guess this is what is their issue. No, you actually have to define it. After you've gotten information from your research, you cannot break them into bits and understand what the situation is all about. Like I made mention earlier on, as a designer, you are doing a lot of critical thinking because you are actually solving problems, and that's what tech does in general. It actually provides solutions to problems that people undergo. So that's define. The next stage we have is ideate. You are done defining your problem, you've written it down and said, okay, this is what the problem is all about, from empathizing with your user at the end of the day. So you ideate it. Ideate is like you are coming up with solutions, you brainstorm for ideas. Yes, you actually have to brainstorm for ideas. You have to be creative, you have to think. And it's not, you can actually brainstorm for your ideas on your own. You can make use of AI to actually help you. At the end of the day, during the course of this training, I'm going to be talking theoretically or talking from my own end. I'm still going to be infusing AI because that is the generation, or that's like where we are right now. Those people that are actually going to actually make it out there or be the best out there are people that can actually implement AI into their skill set at the end of the day. So you ideate, you come up with you come up with ideas rather from your problem. You've been able to define your problem. So you cannot begin with writing down things or ways to solve that particular problem at that point in time. Think of what can you do, because if you are working as a UI UX designer, you are always thinking of coming up with, if you are working as a UI UX designer in a company or in a particular product, don't think you are just going there to just go and sit down and be pushing or to just go and be doing five things. You are going to be doing a lot of thinking. When you see new features are rolling out every day on a particular product or on a particular software that you use out there, you think it's just magic. It involves the entire team. The UI UX designers are brainstorming, the marketing team is brainstorming, the developer is brainstorming, the product manager is brainstorming, the stakeholders, the owners of the product, they are brainstorming. So you as a UI UX designer, you should be thinking of ways to solve problems, thinking of ways to come up with solutions, thinking of ideas that are actually going to make things much more better at the end of the day. There's one thing that I love about Child Deck that I think they do a lot. If you make use of Child Deck during festive periods or during some special occasion like Valentine and the rest, and then you go to their platform. Once you open it, you see that particular platform, like the theme that would be under their interface at that point in time, is going to be Valentine theme. Like they change their UI to actually fit into that particular occasion at that particular point in time. That's a particular way. That is like an idea that is actually put into place to actually solve a particular problem at that point in time. So yeah, that's just that. So the next one we have is prototype. That is still part of the design thinking process. Prototype. What is prototype? This is where you begin to experiment those ideas. So yes, you are done coming up with your idea. You've generated your idea at the end of the day. So you put it into practice. It is an inexpensive way of actually realizing your solution. Prototyping could be done by simply sketching. You can do your paper sketch. You can do wireframing. You can actually do your high fidelity design. So sketching on paper means sketching your idea. You know, you're building a digital product. You have your idea. I want, I'm providing a solution to make user actually have a faster experience at the end of the day when they are making use of this particular app or when they are making use of this particular product. You come up with an idea. How are they going to have a faster user experience? Probably the add to cart, it is like an e-commerce. The add to cart should be at a particular position or on the website or something like that. So the next thing you are going to do now is to sketch it, because you are doing or you are building a digital product. It's not just theory. You can carry your pen and paper, sketch it, draw your interface, draw your box, sketch. We're still going to look at all of that too. Then you wireframe. You can do your wireframing. We're going to look at what wireframing is all about. Do your high fidelity design. Do your low fidelity design. I know you might be wondering what is high fidelity design, low fidelity design. We are going to also still look at all of that. Then you test. Test is like the last process. And that's why they said design thinking process is an iterative process. Because once you test, after testing, you can go back to the first process, which is empathize. So you can start the process all over again in your product development or in building your product as a designer. So when you test, this test stage is where you get to see the capabilities of your solutions. So testing is probably just asking, oh, have this particular problem been solved? Has it tackled, okay, I'm solving a particular problem. This particular design, this particular solution I brought, this particular high fidelity design I did, has it solved the problem? How do you do that? You carry it out there, you give it to the target users, you make them use it or make use of it, and then you actually test it. Then when you test, sometimes you find out that, oh, there are certain issues, probably the UX is not good, probably they have like a slow response when it comes to clicking a particular button. Then you go back again and start empathizing with your user. So that's how the process continues and continues again. So that's just like a brief explanation of what design thinking process is all about. We're still going to be like using this in the course of this learning to deal more on our class. So is there any question before I move on to? Is there any question? Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Have I been talking to myself since?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for that. So, Oluwatoyin, you have a question? Yeah, please just ask your question quickly. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. My question is just simple. What is the difference between sympathy and empathy when it comes to UI UX designing and things like that? Hello, Ma.
Okay, I can hear you. You say sympathy and empathy. Sympathy, right? Okay,
Yes,
sympathy is having
Ma.
pity of people now. I think so. I don't know. English, if we have English personnel there in the house, sympathy is like having a pity on someone. And as a designer, you're not having pity on your user, you're empathizing with them instead. You're just like putting yourself in their position or putting yourself in their shoes to understand what they are going through at the end of the day. I feel like for my own understanding of the English terms or English definition, I feel like sympathy is more like you empathizing, or sorry, pitying your user, like having sympathy on them, having pity on them. And that's not what you're doing as a UI designer. You don't come up with your design, you don't make design choices based on pity or based on, oh, this thing is going to look fine there. Oh, let me just put it on. Oh, this thing is going to, no. You don't make design choices based on pity. You make design choices based on, okay, research. Most importantly, you've empathized with them, you've done your research. So that's like what your design choices are based on. I don't know if I answered your question, Oluwa. Next person has question. Bisola, please ask your question.
I have two questions. The first
Two
question,
questions.
yes. The first question is, what's the difference between prototype and wireframing? That's the first question, because you explained prototype, but you didn't really explain wireframing. That's the first question. Then the second question is, as a UI UX designer, when you design a particular stuff, like maybe a website or an app, sometimes when I see some products online, they are always so heavy, and when you try to load them, they roll and roll and roll and roll. Can that mistake come from a UI UX designer? Like
I don't
all
understand
this
what you mean by heavy. You said they are so heavy.
Like sometimes when you see some website online, the graphics, the videos, they take so long to load, like as if they are too, I don't understand. Like they are so heavy, like they take so long to load. When something is heavy online, it takes longer to load. So can that kind of mistake come from a UI UX designer?
Okay, let me
Mistake. Oh, okay.
help on that. Evil on evening. Can you
My
hear me?
boss is here. He wants to.
Good evening, everybody. So, why you see that you're loading up a website and then some images on the website are taking time to load, is both the role of the UI UX designer and the developer to fix. Okay, so you in the course of your training, you would get to know about different image formats, file formats. All right, so in using some images in your development, it might require you to have the SVG format of that file. It might require you to use WebPeg format. All right, these are formats that are friendly for easy loading on platforms. Okay, so it's not every image asset from your design that you want to use for development that you would
use as PNG, as the case may be, or JPEG file, is going to be really heavy on the website. And the developers that don't know that don't request for it. So sometimes when you get on design gigs, the developer, they just care about having you design the interface and the experience, and then they copy all the assets and they are using it like that. So as a developer, let's say we have people, I heard somebody answer that is a developer and he partly does design. So if you have in mind of going into development also, you should be able to bridge the gap between design and development properly. All right, know the type of assets that are heavy, the ones that are light. Know when there is need for you to reduce resolution of an asset. Okay, and this is the first class for UI UX. As you go on, your instructor will make justice to all those things. You get to know about um, how resolution gets to affect the loading effect of your image, file format, and every other details. I believe I've answered your question. Who asked that question?
I did, Bisola. I
All
did.
right, Bishop.
Yes, thank you.
You're clear now.
The first question, please. The difference between wireframing and prototype.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your instructor might want to take it from here then. Kelly, are you around or should I still make justice to that?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so
Go
much,
ahead,
Trust
ma'am.
God. So, guys, that is
All right.
Trust God. That is the lead software developer and operation manager for B.O.F. and is also going to be part of this UI UX design class and assisting in the tutoring. So please, let's just work on him. He was the one that gave the response to that question. Thank you so much, Trust God, for that. So yes, okay, Bisola, your question, actually, was he going to look at that in the course of the learning or the training? Okay, you said what's the difference between wireframing and prototyping? Wireframing is like, I would just say in simple explanation,
Kenny, you are muted. You are speaking, but you are muted.
oh my God, that's so true. I was speaking and I was muted. Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. You guys can hear me now, right?
Yes, very well. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So we are going to be looking at, sorry, no more question again. Let's just wrap up with our slide that we have for today, and then we can look at our assignments and still take more questions before we end the call. So I think we have just 2 more slides to go. Okay, we stopped
Did you
out.
get, can you hear me, Kenny? We
Yeah, I
didn't
can
hear
hear
any part
you.
you answering the question. Just go over to answer the question about wireframing and prototyping again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you did not hear that part. I'm sorry about that. So thank you, Trust God. I don't know if you guys heard the part where I said Trust God is the lead software developer and also the operation manager at B.O.F. So let's just welcome him with clapping emoji. Thank you for being here. And he's also going to be part of the duration of this particular UI UX design class because he's still my boss in UI UX design. So he's going to be assisting or being part of this training. So thank you so much, Trust God, for being here. So Bisola, as regarding your question when it comes to the difference between prototyping and wireframing, wireframing is just like the skeletal work of your design. It's just like drawing a skeletal structure of the actual design, whereby you don't have any color or text. You just do like a skeletal work of it. Although we're still going to look at it in detail, there is a particular session where we are going to be treating wireframing. So we're going to look at that in detail. So I might not want to that is why I did not really talk much on it when I was mentioning it in the prototyping session, because it's something we're still going to mention again. Yes. So okay, moving on to our slide. We are almost at the end of the slide. So the next thing we're meant to look at is laws of UX. So there are some laws that actually govern your user experience, but it's not like stamped anywhere and said it must be a must to go by these particular laws, but it just actually helps the whole design process or decision making at the end of the day. So there are a lot of laws of UX, but we're just going to be looking at two here, or I'm just going to go over two to explain what I want to explain. So the first law we have is, okay, laws of UX is a collection of best practices that designers can consider when building user interface. Yeah, I've said that. So the first law we're going to just be looking at here is Hicks law. And what does Hicks law say? The time it takes to make a decision increases with the number and complexity of choices. In simple explanation, when you have too many choices, slower decision making, there's a slower decision making process. When you have too many categories, people have confusion. So let's use this practical, let's use this website. Let's use this to explain whatever I just said in Hicks law. I believe all of us are familiar with the whole Netflix mobile application, mobile app, web app, whatever, anyone that they have. We are all familiar with it. So this is like the desktop interface that I took a screenshot of and added to my slides to explain. So when you get to Netflix, you see that they are like, I don't know how many number of total of movies are there, but they should be over 100 or 200 or 500. But then when you come to the website or when you open the app or whatever, you don't just see all the whole movies at once and then you just have to be scrolling through 1 billion movies. That thing actually gives, it actually makes confusion process, like it makes the user to be confused because there are too many categories, and then your decision making process will be slow. Sometimes you can just even get frustrated and leave the application. But one way actually that Netflix is actually solving that that Netflix actually solved that issue using laws of UX was to make things arranged. Once you open your Netflix application, the first thing I think you see is top 10 movies. That's what you see there. So that they either show you top 10 films based on your region or top 10 series. So at that point in time, it actually reduces your decision making process because you can easily just swipe through it and then see it. It's not just, all these things were not just done based on magic or something. There were certain laws that were actually followed to actually implement those things. Or at the end of the day, you will be seeing this at this top part here. I don't know if you guys are seeing my cursor. You can actually see home, series. So you can even just tap on them to say, okay, if it's only a movie you are looking for, you just click on it. It takes you to like all the movie section. If it's only a series you are looking for, you just click on it. It takes you to the series. Then if you want to search based on the genre, you can actually still see it too. If it's action. So all of those things were put in place based on, so that is what this Hicks law is actually talking about. The time it takes to make a decision increases the number of complexity of choices. So once you're actually designing and you're considering the law of UX, actually make your platform or make your products to have lesser choices, or don't make it too complex, or don't have too many categories of things happening at the same time because it causes confusion. The next law that we are going to look at is fifth law. I believe you can see my slide. This is the fifth law here. So the time to reach a target depends on size and distance. So that's what fifth law is talking about. The time it takes to reach on target depends on the size and distance. Let me explain. I believe you can still see my screen because that is what I'm using to explain whatever I'm explaining now. So you can see that this image you can see here now, the thumb zone, you have your low, hard to reach, you have stretch, inconvenient, you have natural. So when you are placing some kind of okay, let's come to this. mobile application interface we have here. When you're placing some kind of decision, or when you're placing some kind of categories on your particular product, you have to be very careful where you want to place it. You can say you want to place a call to action, but like you want to like make people to like buy something, like it's an e-commerce website and you're looking for the call to action button there should be probably buy now, because that is where some people, that is where they are meant to click on to buy whatever they want to buy, and then you go and place it at the top left corner of your website or web app or anything. Most times, most people don't even see it, so you need to put it in a particular region that actually is visible at the end of the day. So we have the tertiary actions people rarely use, like menu, profile. It's not every time I come to a particular app that I want to click on my profile and be seeing what. It's not every time I'm changing my profile picture and the rest. So you hardly see it. So you can position it in a particular place or in a certain way. Then we have the primary one too, main contents that the user interacts with the most. You position them in the primary place that you know that, okay, your user is going to see. Then you have your secondary tags and other secondary actions that may be frequent. You can actually place them at this particular point. So that is what Hicks law is actually, sorry, let me go back. That's what Hicks law, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this thing well, is actually talking about. The time to reach a target depends on size and distance. So if you want people to actually reach a particular place faster, like that is like your main, you have like a main call to action or a main screen or a main section you want people to be clicking on the more. Put it in somewhere that is going to be very convenient for them to reach. Don't go and put it somewhere that is far or that is a distance and all of that. So that's just like the two law of UX we are going to be looking at. There are other laws. I think they are up to 10 or so, but I did not actually put all of them here because that is where your assignment is going to come into place for you to actually go and look up on the other ones. So we have 3 assignments so far. So I'm going to go through the assignment because I believe my time is already up. So there was a particular assignment. Yeah, there was assignment 1. And this first assignment was after I was done with the overview of UI UX design. I said, go to any digital application or website or product you use daily. Outline 3 things that feel smooth and you love about it. 3 things you think is bad or frustrating and can be improved on. Write why they feel that way. This assignment is still going to be sent. It's still going to be sent to you guys after now or after the call. But this is just, I'm just reading it for those of you that are here that might not understand or you need clearance or what the assignment is all about. So this is the first assignment. Then the second assignment is this one. Pick a problem of your choice. Write the user, problem, content. What I mean by writing the user, once you pick any problem of your choice, who are your users for that problem? Who are your target audience? Who are they? What are they? Write about that. Write about them. The problem. Write about the problem that that particular user is facing or is encountering. The contents. What contents is that problem being used for? Create a simple problem statement. So creating a problem statement is not much work. It's just write up, or you're just putting them together. So creating a problem statement is more like just putting all, like having a write-up that defines what your problem is all about, what solution is he going to solve at the end of the day. So create a problem statement with it. Then the third assignment, this is like the most important assignment for out of this theory. So you're meant to go to nairaland.com. I know most of us know of it or have heard of it, but if you've not, you can just type nairaland.com on your browser or wherever it is, you're going to see it. So comparing with the laws of UX and what I have taught in the course of this class today. So the laws of UX, there is a site for it to, you can go and then you're going to see, I think there are about 10 or so, you're going to see the 10 laws, read through all of them. So comparing with the laws of UX, outline each of the laws, state if the site is following each of the outline laws. The site, which is the Naira Land I'm referring to, list how the site, sorry, this is supposed to be SITE, list how the site can be improved with regards to each of the outline laws. So once you go to the site, compare with your laws of UX. Law 1, Hicks law. Each sorry, the laws are not in my head. Law one, Hicks law, so and so. So once you are done writing it, is the site following that particular law? If you say no, you look at the site, go through it. It's not following that particular law. You write no. Then you write how it can be improved based on that particular law. So that's your assignment theory, and that brings us to the end of today's class. Any question? I'm going to be doing any question quickly. If you miss anything, the recording is going to be available. You have time to watch the recording before our next class on Friday. So the assignments, okay, theory assignment. The theory are not going to be submitted before the next class, but the first assignment one, and I think assignment two, but assignment one, it should be compulsory. You should have done it before the next class on Friday. The only assignments that should still be on hold that I don't expect you to submit before the next class on Friday is assignment 3. So any question, quickly, our time is over.
Please,
If you need
before
the recording, okay, Trust God, you want to say something?
Good evening, everybody. I am Trust God. You can call me TG. Before you ask your questions, please, I want you all to remember that this program is being powered by NIDA. All right. So before you ask your questions, as we summarize for this class, I want you to just say your name, all right, and appreciate the body that is offering you this program for free. NIDA, the DG, and probably the organization that is training you. So over to you, candidate. So raise up your hand and you'll be pointed to ask your questions. I believe that's okay. All right. Everyone, Jimo, go ahead with your question. Follow the order.
Good evening. My name is Widwan Chimo.
Good evening.
Firstly, I would like to appreciate the leader and the organization that is training us for this program. It's a big project, and I will, with the little time like 2 days that we've done so far, I've learned 1 or 2 things, and as it is to my end, I know some other people might have learned 1 or 2 things. So we really appreciate their efforts towards the core members. At least
Good. Go ahead. Please, every other person, feel free. You can tell us what you've learned. Give sincere review, please. Yeah. We can't hear you again, Jimo. Is it only me?
No, I can't hear you too. I think another person's hand is on. So you can just, if your hand is on, you can just be talking.
Okay, my name.
Yeah,
Cross.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I personally think facilitators making it very sure that we'll get through the course, and also the needs that were under his umbrella, National Information and Technology Development Agency, and generally Brigadier General Oluseye Olakunle Nafiu, NYC DG, for his efforts for rebranding and expanding the entrepreneurial mindsets of the youth. Since the class is still starting, I don't really have much to say, but I am so inquisitive and my heart is open and cool and calm, because just like the facilitator is teaching us, I'm getting many things, and I'm very, very sure that the end will really justify the means. Thank you.
Okay, somebody asked the question in the comment section about how the assignment will be submitted. I just typed something. A drive link, a shared folder will be provided, and with that you can make your submissions. Yeah, the instructor will drop it in the group. Any other question, please? We asked for question. Then, if you want to give review, you can go ahead and do that after. So let's take questions first. Questions from this class, and after that we take reviews. Questions. Okay, I can see one hand up. Olayinka. So open your mic, Olayinka. Is it a question or a review?
All right, thank you, sir. It's a question actually.
All right, go
So
ahead.
my name is Oluwatoyin Olayinka. I want to appreciate the facilitators. I want to appreciate the B.O.F organization, NITDA, and the DG. I've actually learned a lot tonight. All right. There's a question sent in the chat box that I want to also ask to second. The person was asking about what are the like can we what are those devices that we can prepare for that can we do the UI UX with our smartphone or we need to have a laptop compulsorily so that we're able to have a uh, well-round lesson. All right. So what are those things that we need to prepare for those who do not have laptop and things like that?
Okay. During the onboarding, hope everybody can hear me. During the onboarding, I know I was the one that made mention of such that some courses, some of the classes here, you would need laptops. Okay. So it's going to be really frustrating if you're learning UI UX with your mobile device. So if you compare with someone that would be of great advantage to you, that's one. Secondly, if you feel okay, that's one of the major things you need to do. And but then if you feel you can get your PC in the course of the training before the training elapse, that's also a good one. Just work towards it and do proper documentation. Most importantly, the classes are recorded. You can always fall back to them. Is that okay? But by all means, try to get acquainted with a PC you will learn with, because when we get practical, um, using your Figma is going to be really frustrating if you want to do that with your mobile device. I believe I've answered your question, Olayinka. All right, very well. Miss Kenny, are you still here? I noticed when her network was shaking. So, okay. Any other question? In the absence of any question, I would want us to end with just one review. Any person that you want to just give a review. You want to just you have something to say concerning what you've learned tonight, right? Just tell us your take home. One person, one amazing person, just tell us your review from tonight's class and we call it a day. Any person, please don't be shy. You're amazing, you know it. Okay, I saw one hand, right? I've not heard a female voice. Okay, okay, Mr. John Cross, you've said something before. Please, just any person apart from the person that's asked question, please just give us a review, female, male, anybody at all, and then we'll call it a day. Open your mic and speak. Stop typing it in the comment section. Can I have somebody, please? All right, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Not your name, but if blood no flow from my mouth.
My name is
Go ahead.
Akoladu Samuel,
Okay,
and
Samuel. I think
I want to appreciate the DG and NITDA and I think Mind the Gap for this opportunity for DLCs to broaden their knowledge and to gain a skill, especially in the digital world that we are in now. And for this class, that's for the organization that is training us, that's B.O.F. I really want to appreciate them and the instructor also because the class is very interactive and it's very interesting. Even though yes, I had a proud knowledge of UX, but for newbies, for people that are just learning, it's very interesting and it's something that even novice or newbies will be able to relate with. And yeah, that's what I have to say.
all right, thank you, sir. That will be the end of tonight's class. Miss Kenny, do you have any final words?
No, thank you all so much for joining. More information as regarding the assignments would be dropped on the platform. The recording would be dropped too. And I will see you guys in class on Friday. If you have more questions, I'm on the platform that you are on. So you even have direct access to me to ask your questions as regarding any issue you have in the course of today's class. Thank you. So that'll be all. Good night, everyone.
Good night, ma.